Hello YouTube, Own Soldier 86 here, and I am going to show you the next step in our process of creating the Smash Brothers level, and that will be to convert these two textures into something that's transparent. If you remember way back when we made these textures, we created an alpha channel so that they would show up transparent, at least at this portion that's white right here. And even though we went through the process of saving the BMP files as the correct type and the right format, and then went through the process of going through Blender. Somehow along the lines, I guess, these textures turn back into this sort of normal texture with a white background, and we need to convert that into the transparency that we're looking for. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this mode down here in the lower left-hand corner to edit room positions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight. You can click onto these different textures, and what it does is it actually shows you how the game will draw these textures. They don't draw in squares. Instead, they draw in triangles. That's why when we went to Blender and we were looking at the thing called tries, that refers to the amount of triangles that are being drawn in the level. And if I click anywhere on screen here, you can see where each of these areas that were normally cubes or rectangles or anything like that, they are actually being represented by triangles. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight, we're going to select each of these sections here, and I'm going to hold down Control so I can select multiple. And since we have the same texture on both of these chain links, we're going to go ahead and select this side as well. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. I'm going to find an option called Replace Triangle / Group Texture / Details. And by doing so, we come up with this new screen. Now, this is a little bit above my pay grade. A lot of information right here can be really intimidating for your first look through. There might be a way to improve the transparency to work with the EverDrive. However, I am not familiar on how to do that. So if somebody out there that that's more familiar with this kind of, I don't even know what to call it, text. If anyone's out there really familiar with this information, please share that with me so I can relay that information online to YouTube here so that everyone can understand how it works. But what I am going to do is I'm going to look in the left-hand corner here, and there's a flag for transparency. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to say OK. And we have created our transparency texture. And as you can see, it doesn't look super fantastic, but it will get the job done. Remember, this will show up wonderfully in the emulated version if you're on, say, Project 64. But if you're trying this on EverDrive on real hardware, it will flicker. So I like to try to limit the amount of transparencies that I have, plus having to go through that extra step of having to click on each of these different areas that are going to be transparency, and then finding that replace texture and then calling it transparency. That can be a tedious process. And if the level crashes, remember, we've got to do all this over again. So less steps, the better. That's why just doing the normal, that's why I find just doing the normal geometry like this or the normal texturing just makes the process so much easier and so much less of a hassle. Sometimes you just have to give and take a few things. So yeah, so that's all there is to transparency. In the next step, we are going to talk about clipping. So I'm going to turn the clipping mode on, and in the next video, we are going to deal with the clipping.